So that was a still shot from the fight last night where Tony Weeks was the referee in the Ortiz-Davies matchup. And as Blue Blood, as you saw in the thumbnail, said, I'm back at you with another one. Or at least Tony Weeks is back at you with another one. Let's talk about it. Welcome back to Boxing Unwrapped. Please leave a message down below, comment, suggestions, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. And shout out to Blue Blood Sports TV. I'm a big fan. One of the reasons why I even have this channel. I will always give respect to one of the OGs like that. Now, he had a video. Now, the reason why I'm making it and I'm putting him on there, he's one of the first people that I saw, because for me, every other weekend I can see fights. I can't see them every single weekend. So in the morning, I wake up, I turn on YouTube. What do I see? I see Blue on there, and I see Tony Weeks in the thumbnail, and I said, oh no, what happened? And here we go again. Tony Weeks. Now, before I do that, let's have a history lesson with Tony Weeks. Tony Weeks is a Hall of Famer referee, as Blue told you in that video. He has been part of some of the best fights of all time and some of the best stoppages of all time. Castillo Corrales, in his own words, he was like, I knew I was in something special. I was about to stop it for Castillo's favor. Next thing I know, Castillo's on the ropes and I'm stopping it for Corrales' favor. One of the greatest comebacks of all time, if not the greatest comeback of all time. At least probably the greatest comeback I've ever seen, me, personally. Now, I wasn't there, but on TV. Baru Jack had one of the worst cuts in history. The shirt was going to be donated that Tony Weeks wore to the Hall of Fame. It was so bloody. I mean, he's just been involved in those kind of fights. He was also involved in tragic fights. Lavanda Johnson versus Jesus Chavez, where Lavanda Johnson got stopped in the 11th round, took so much punishment that he died immediately after. All of those three fights could have been stopped at any given point, and it would have been fair. But Tony Weeks let that go on. Fast forward now, his historic rise. He's had questionable stoppages here and there in between, but nothing so much so that it still resonates. Fast forward to Barroso versus Romero. Barroso gets dropped. He drops Rolly. But in between those drops, he's outpointing Rolly. He's going to seemingly go to win his first championship as a unanimous decision. At the first sign of a flurry, where Barroso was on the ropes, and he wasn't answering but wasn't getting hit clean, Tony Weeks steps in and stops the fight. Everybody, announcers, fans, at home, in the arena, for weeks, pun intended, on end, we complain about that. We thought we were past it. Last night, we go to the Ortiz fight with Davies. And I'm going to make a video about that fight because that's interesting in and of itself and the ramifications of that fight. But at the first sign in the first round, where Davies maybe... I'm sorry, not Davies. I keep confusing him. Lawson. At the first sign of Lawson being hurt. Now, I'm not saying he was even hurt bad. Just at the first sign. He puts up a high guard, goes through the ropes. Virgil Ortiz tees off. Everything blocked. Nothing landed clear except for one body shot that I saw, a left hand to the rib cage that didn't do any damage really. It didn't last 3 seconds. Weeks comes in and stops the fight. Even Ortiz was like, oh, what's happening? Wow, what's going on? Like, he had that runoff, like, wait a minute, okay, I get the win, but now Blue made a perfectly sound and rational comment where it was, hey, he needs to be investigated at this point. If not for malicious wrongdoing, but is Weeks compensating now at this older age where he can't see people even seemingly take a punch before he just gets so worried that he stops the fight, because maybe he's seen so much, and maybe that Lavanda Johnson is starting to come back to him, where I'm not gonna say he let, because the corner also had a responsibility, but that man died. So is Weeks' legendary run officially over? I think so. I think Tony Weeks should sit down. I think he's given us a great run. He's tarnishing his legacy by making these awful, awful, awful decisions in important fights for fighters and for the sport. And before it gets any worse, he should sit down, call it a career. He should apologize for these stoppages and explain why he did it. And it's probably the best route to say is, I just lost that edge where I can't see fighters take punishment, and I should have never let that be what made the decisions, and I should have never been in that ring to begin with. And I think at that point we would then forgive him, and then we can move on. He's out of the sport. Maybe he becomes a commentator or something else, or opens up a school of refereeing. Maybe he already has that. I don't know. But the point being, he doesn't belong in the ring refereeing any more fights where fighters' immediate future is at stake. Immediate meaning this fight is the literal door to a big payday. Can't happen. We need to clean up boxing. Even if this is inadvertent, it still sullies boxing. We need to clean it up. And let me know what you think about Tony Weeks down below. How it happened. Shout out to Blue one more time. Great channel, great content. Big up to the homie. I'll see you next time.